Yeah, where do they
They're in
live?
Houston.
Oh,
In
perfect.
Spring Branch.
Yeah, you
we
are knows the way.
Oh, yeah.
With no problem.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Oh, man, it's
How are you?
No,
Well,
real
good.
beautiful.
What's that, Miss Siggy?
Porch there and everything.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just before we get started, if I could provide a reminder of making sure that we're within range of the mics. There's been some recording issues previously where we can't hear everything that's being said in the meeting. As you can see how I'm talking, it's not necessarily right in front of me, but it's close enough that you can hear the echo of the mic. So just be listening to that when you're speaking, please. Thank you.
All right,
Attention.
if we could have a roll call, please,
Yes, sir. Chairman LaBiche,
here.
Commissioner Avery. Absent. Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Berube,
Here.
Commissioner Crawford. Absent. Commissioner Goodness,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly,
Here.
Commissioner Macon,
Here.
Commissioner Provo,
Here.
Commissioner Segee,
Here.
Commissioner Templeton.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Our first item of business is approval of the minutes from the meeting held on September the 11th, 2023. Those were mailed out to all of you, so I would ask for any corrections, deletions, or a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes?
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll have a roll call vote like we normally do, or you don't need a roll call vote? Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, that passes. All right, we'll move into our regular meeting. Our first file is PZ 2023-329. It's a request for certificate of appropriateness to construct an accessory structure. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one. That is not the right one.
Yeah, and I think maybe you said September's minutes, now that I think about it. I think we should have said October's minutes.
Oh, I missed that too.
All right, then we will amend it to October's minutes and we will vote again.
Motion to approve the October minutes that are provided.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, now we'll get back into the right ones. We're going to move into our regular meeting. Our first file is PZ 2023-340. It's a request for certificate of appropriateness to construct two duplexes. The applicant is Cornell Price and the location is 2490 Liberty Avenue. We'll ask for a staff report, please.
Good afternoon. Property owner Cornell Price of CMP3 Enterprises has requested a certificate of appropriateness to allow the construction of two duplexes on the property located at 2490 Liberty Avenue at the corner of Liberty and 9th Street. The proposed construction methods employed would dictate that the two-story structures will be constructed on a slab foundation with wood framing. The siding would be a 1x8x12 profile and made of hardy plank with proposed body color of alabaster and a proposed trim color of accessible beige. The roof will be finished with weatherwood 30-year architectural shingles, and the orientation of the duplexes will have the proposed structures and attached garages facing 9th Street, with the side of the structure facing Liberty Avenue. The site plan is subject to an approved variance through the Board of Adjustment, and the use of the lot for duplexes subject to approval of a specific use permit by the Planning Commission and City Council. Planning staff recommends approval of the request subject to the following conditions. 1, storm shutters be included for all upper windows and painted to match the structure. All windows be 1/1 in appearance, and the roof overhang minimum shall be 12 inches. On your screen, this is the vacant lot looking at it from Liberty. This is the corner on 9th looking down Liberty. And this is the proposed elevation. And the applicant is in the audience.
All right, is there any questions for staff?
I guess I have one question just for clarification. It says 2 duplexes, so is it 2 of these?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I have a question. Are these upper and lower level, or are they 2-level?
So it is a 2-story duplex, so each unit is 2 stories.
Each unit is 2-story.
So it'll be 2 separate structures, each with 2 units.
Okay. So 4 units total.
Yes, sir.
Basically 4 families would be living there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You mentioned a file that has to go up having to do with parking on the site. Is there not enough room to do the parking on the site, and they're asking for a variance for that?
No, so the rework from the original, what we discussed previously with the townhomes has been completely reworked. Now, the 2 duplexes will each feature a driveway with a drive up to the garages that are installed with the structures. The variance request is for the building to be a little set back towards the rear property line. It's not necessarily an encroachment. I believe it needed to be 15 and we have 10, right? We need to be 10 and we have 7? I'm sorry? You have 10? Yeah, so it needed to be 15 and he has 10.
And are you saying that the backyard is now the adjacent piece of property?
So
Is
looking
the
down,
backyard to the right there or to the back?
so what we're looking at right now, the backyard, the structures will face 9th Street.
Okay,
So the backyard would be the fence.
that's right.
It's the side where the other cyclone fence is at the very back of this property. He needed to be 15 feet from that way, and I believe he only has 10 on the proposed site plan. So if you approve his architectural design, he will then go before the Board of Adjustments for a request for a variance. If that variance gets approved, then he would move forward to the specific use permit through the Planning and Zoning Commission. If the variance fails, he will have to rework his layout somehow.
So if he, with the variance, how close would that put the structures to the sidewalk, the existing sidewalk?
So he still has the 25-foot that's required from the front property line. So from the front property line at Liberty, behind the sidewalk, he will have to be 25 feet back, which his site plan more than meets. He more than meets all 3 setbacks. It's just that one at the rear of the abutting property on Broadway.
So where is the garage?
The garages are going to be built in to the duplexes.
Left side?
So
This is a garage door.
in the middles,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, got it.
Each duplex will have garages in the middle.
Okay, got it.
There will be no parking lot on site.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And that they're gonna face 9th Street?
Yes, ma'am. They'll face 9th Street.
Go up the stairs to go up here.
Sorry, with it being a one-way street, it was kind of hard to
Gotcha.
get really good angled pictures.
Garages are for one car garage?
1-car garage, yes.
So if it faces 9th Street, the front yard will be 9th Street, not Liberty Street.
Correct. However, the front setback is still from Liberty because it is narrowest street frontage. So it's not 25 off 9th, it's just 25 off Liberty.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? If not, Mr. Price, if you're here, if you would come forward and state your name and your address for our records and just kind of describe to us what you're trying to do.
Yes, how y'all doing? My name is Cornell Price. I'm with CMP3 Enterprises, and my address is 2635 Rigby Drive. Basically, what she said, we're trying to put up affordable duplexes in the area and give families something nice to rent. And we'd be more than happy to meet all y'all requirements if y'all okay it.
Now, are these duplexes for low-income housing?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
So it looks like you won't have to remove that tree then on the property.
Ma'am?
Looks like you won't have to remove that big, will you have to
I
remove the
will. I'll remove those trees, the ones that's
remove the
needed.
trees?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too
Yeah, yeah, that was in the
I
middle.
think I can keep the one in the middle, but the one in the back, I think I have to remove that one.
Yeah.
He's talking about that tree, right?
Can you describe the exterior materials that you're planning on using on the duplexes, please?
We plan on using cement hardy plank.
Okay, so board and batten on the lower section and 8-inch lap on the upper section?
No, we're gonna put 8 inch on the top section and 16 inches on the bottom. I have a larger copy of the blueprint if y'all like to look at it.
Sure. This is what's confusing. This looks like board and batten, and that looks like lap siding. Is that what you're is that what you're planning to do? Okay, so 8-inch lap siding over the entire elevation. That's what's going on here right now. Anybody else?
Good with this.
Anybody want to see the large drawing?
Can you just tell us how many square feet each duplex is?
Each duplex is about 1,500 square feet.
Oh, that's cool.
This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on one side and a 2-bedroom, 2-bath on the other side.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Will you be doing any outdoor landscaping?
Yes, we do landscaping and we'll put a 8-foot privacy fence around the property.
Okay, cool.
What do you anticipate these leasing for? How much do you think that they'll lease
I
for?
estimate between 1,300 and 1,500 a month.
It's very reasonable.
Why'd you decide to change the facade of the building to shiplap instead of what you have here in the picture?
Well, the design, he just drew up a plan so I can get it
Yeah.
for y'all to see. And then once we get a final approval or final things I need to do to the blueprint, we'll change it.
Any other questions for Mr. Price? Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
No, we'll give it back to you.
I move that we approve PZ 2023-340, the request for the certificate of appropriateness.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
With the following conditions.
With the following conditions, subject to the conditions that were established.
Looking for the staff.
I'm gonna look at mine.
Okay, the staff conditions were storm shutters to be included on the upper windows and painted to match the structure. All windows be 1/1 in appearance. Roof overhangs minimum of 12 inches. Is that acceptable? Commissioner Bell, is that acceptable to you? Is that accept?
I'm sorry,
All right, second, is that
Yes,
acceptable?
yes, yes.
All right. Any other discussion? If none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have to do a roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call vote on this one.
Chairman LaBeige,
Yes.
Commissioner Bell,
yes.
Commissioner Berube,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodness,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Macon,
Yes.
Commissioner Provo,
Yes.
Commissioner Segee,
Yes.
Commissioner Templeton.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our next file, PZ 2023-384, request to revoke a certificate of appropriateness for expansion of a driveway. Applicant, City of Beaumont. The address is 2555 Harrison Avenue.
Good afternoon. City of Beaumont is requesting to revoke a certificate of appropriateness to expand the driveway at 2555 Harrison Avenue The request comes following the discovery the applicant had mistakenly applied for a certificate of appropriateness for the wrong address where the work is intended. A corrected application has been submitted and will be before you for review.
That's simple.
All right, anyone have any questions?
How did we miss that?
So the applicant had made the application and there was multiple discussions with him about the driveway request.
Yeah.
And which will be before you later. He applied originally for 2255. I'm sorry, 2555. His applicant should have been 2255.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for staff? If not, I'll ask for a motion.
I make a motion that we grant the city's request to revoke a certificate of appropriateness for the driveway PZ 2023-384.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, we call for a roll call vote, please.
Chairman LaBiche,
Yes.
Commissioner Bell,
Yes.
Commissioner Berube,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawford, Commissioner Goodness,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Macon,
Yes.
Commissioner Provo,
Yes.
Commissioner Segee,
Yes.
Commissioner Templeton.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, our next file is PZ 2023-403, a request for a certificate of demolition to demolish a house. Applicant, City of Beaumont. The address is 2370 Pecos Street.
Boyd Meyer, building official, requests a certificate of demolition for the house located at 2370 Pecos Street. According to the inspection report, this structure was originally tagged on June 9th, 2023, after damage from a fire. The structure received substantial damage such as collapsed ceiling, rafter damage, and rear roof and walls completely destroyed, with substantial smoke damage to the remainder of the structure, making it considered unsafe for human occupancy. Based on the extensive repairs needed for the structure, Building Code staff is recommending a raise order. Planning staff recommends approval of the request. We mailed 17 property owner notices regarding this demolition and received 0 in response.
Dear, are you going to show the other pictures?
And that's what we have.
All right, any questions for staff?
So you mailed all the letters to the neighbors, but is there any response from the owner?
So I believe on this one that there was a property owner consent.
Owner signed, it's on the second page. Owner
Okay.
signed demolition consent and the structures. Fire burned is what it says.
Yes, this one did receive a property owner consent.
All right, thank you.
All right. If there's no other questions, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Motion to approve file PZ 2023-403.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, call for a vote, please.
Chairman LaBiche,
For.
Commissioner Bell,
Yes.
Commissioner Berube,
4.
Commissioner Crawford,
4.
Commissioner Goodness,
Or
Commissioner Kelly,
4.
Commissioner Macon,
4.
Commissioner Provo,
4.
Commissioner Segee,
4.
Commissioner Templeton.
4.
Thank you.
Our next file is PZ 2023-425. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to change all windows and exterior doors. Applicant is Tina Ellis for Melvin Taylor. Location is 2570 Rusk Street.
Tina Ellis, on behalf of the property owner, Melvin Taylor, has requested a certificate of appropriateness to allow the renovation of a home located at 2570 Rush Street through the Texas General Land Office Harvey Recovery Program. The applicant is requesting to remove all of the existing 4/1 windows and replace them with 1/1 windows. Additionally, the existing exterior doors would be removed and replaced with a solid 6-panel exterior door. The home seems to be constructed with the inspiration of a Tudor architecture with its multiple front gables and steeply pitched side gable, rounded porch entry, and brick detailing around the decorative edges, however lacks the grandeur details of the architectural design. Examples of Tudor details as described can be seen in a field guide to American houses, pages 355 to 358. In reviewing the examples, the multi-pane windows appear to be the featured throughout the Tudor homes examples, making the request to change the windows to 1/1 seem inappropriate. Planning staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. The front door be installed and painted to match the trim and accents of the structure. The windows are replaced to include the mulling strips to give the appearance of the original 4/1 windows. The property, however, is not listed in the spare Beaumont survey. On your screen, you'll see this is the entry. It's really hard to tell, but that original door does have a large square transom at the top of it. It's not all the way to the peak, but it's just low enough to be where you can see through. The 4/1 windows do wrap all the way around except for the two smaller windows on either side that are just 1/1. But those are what we have.
I look back at some historic photos on this house, and it used to have stone over the entire house. And when it had the stone, it had 6/6 windows. And that's from the Google Earth map, I guess, probably taken 20-something years ago.
I did have a problem. 2 doors to the left, there is one that looks exactly like this that is a stone
Okay.
house. So I don't,
Yeah.
That may have been.
it may have thrown you both ways, but I would say there is one, I think it's 2 to the left that is completely covered in stone. But
Okay.
it's the same frontal features.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for staff? If not, is Miss Ellis, is she here? Or whomever, if you just say your name and your address for our records, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Scott. I'm with RM Quality Construction. Tina Ellis works. I work with Tina. We're based out of Conroe, Texas. So I'm here representing us today. Basically, as it says, I think it mentions in the staff report, this is a Texas General Land Office Hurricane Harvey recovery project. The reason we've presented it initially with the 1/1 windows, because that's the spec that we're tied to. We have to have your decision in order to go back to the program. They will basically approve whatever you guys approve. So if it is the 4/1 mullion strips or whatever we will do, they will agree to, and then they'll pay us a little extra to do. So I'm just kind of here if you guys got any further questions.
Is this renovation beyond just the surface of the house, or all the things you're doing just on the
So-
surface of the house?
The exterior, all we're basically doing is removing and replacing the windows and the exterior doors. We're going to do a little bit of brick point, masonry repointing on the outside. The inside is going to be pretty extensive, a lot of drywall repair, some framing repairs, things of that nature as well. But the exterior is pretty much isolated to the windows and the exterior doors.
Any other questions?
Did the roof have damage
So
from the
the roof
hurricane?
is not in our scope of work. I don't know, I can't remember when the applicant said it was replaced, but it has recently been replaced, so it's not in our scope.
Looks like the gutters in the garage need to be something. They're funny
So the
looking.
program does not provide gutters because that's seen as a quote-unquote luxury item. The program's basically to safe, sanitary, secure a home, and because the garage is detached, they won't do anything with it.
Well, I think we need to address the front door. I don't think the solid door is appropriate for the architecture of the home. They're talking about a solid panel, 6-panel solid door with no lights.
Correct. Yeah, and I would need whatever written direction from you guys, and I'm sure they'll be amenable to that change as well.
Is the door currently not functioning, or is it just
It's
the
just,
intent to eliminate the window?
I mean, in my opinion, it is fine, but It's older, so the program likes to have brand new doors, brand new locks, new deadbolts, new jam, all that. So it's part of the safety mechanism of the program.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
So as he said, the decorative portions of this, I think we can say what we'd like for them to do on that and make it part of the requirements. All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion.
All right. A motion to approve PZ 2023-384 with the stipulations of the 4/1 windows.
Mr. Brewery,
Oh, we're 425.
thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
25.
Yeah,
Oh,
425.
I'm done. Okay. PZ 2023-425 with the stipulation of requiring the 4/1 windows. And I don't know how to address this door. Do they need to come back and resubmit a
I think
door?
you can
or-
simply say a new door to match the existing door.
All right.
It looks like it has a view panel with 4 lights in it from kind of what I can see
Yeah.
in the photograph.
And are you,
In addition to that, a new front door to match the existing front door.
Yes, I will go with that.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, if not, we'll call for a roll call vote, please.
Chairman LaBeouf,
For?
Commissioner Bell,
4.
Commissioner Baribi,
4.
Commissioner Crawford,
or,
Commissioner Goodness,
4.
Commissioner Kelly,
4.
Commissioner Macon,
4,
Commissioner Provo, Commissioner Segee,
4.
Commissioner Templeton.
4.
Thank you.
All right, our next file is PZ 2023-434, a request for a certificate of demolition to demolish a house. The applicant is City of Beaumont. The location is 2070 Pecos Street.
Boyd Meyer, building official, requests a certificate of demolition for the house located at 2070 Pecos Street. According to the inspection report, this structure was originally tagged on June 9th, 2023, after damage from a fire. The structure received substantial damage by a second fire in October, leaving the already damaged structure more than 70% damage, according to Beaumont Fire Department, leaving it considered as a total loss and unsafe for human occupancy. Based on the extensive repairs needed for this structure, the building code staff is recommending a raise order. Planning staff recommends approval of this request. We notified 25 property owners surrounding the structure and received 0 in response. On the screen, you can see the structure from the road, and then just an additional photo.
Kind of scary to go in that one, huh?
Yeah. Our inspector did lots of interiors looking, so I was just,
Maybe we need to get you a little drone, huh, to take some more pictures. All right, any?
yeah, there should be some additional photos included in your packet too of the interior. I
Yeah,
try
there
to include those.
I'm surprised you don't get some response from the homeowners around there saying, thank you.
Yeah, so this house is actually the last house on that side of the street. Immediately next to it is the 4th Street resale shop. So it's literally the last home on that side.
Street resale shop. Okay.
What caused the fire 2 times? Was it vacant?
It is. It has been vacant and has been vacant for a number of years. I know there was transient activity in the structure, so one can only assume, but there has not been a cause released to staff.
What kind of communications have you had with the owner?
There's been no communication on this property.
Can't
And like, it's been vacant for a number of years. I know the city's been mowing the grass here
so you
back when
can't
I was
they
code
haven't been
enforcement,
able
so
to
that's been at
locate the
least,
owner?
no one's ever responded to our notices.
There's lots of back taxes owed on this property.
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Tax sale.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Not, we'll call for a vote. I'm sorry, we'll call for a motion, please.
I make a motion on PZ 2023-434 that we approve the demolition.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, we'll call for a roll call vote.
Chairman LaBiche,
For?
Commissioner Bell,
Or,
Commissioner Berube,
4.
Commissioner Crawford. Commissioner Goodness,
or,
Commissioner Kelly,
4.
Commissioner Macon,
4.
Commissioner Provo,
or,
Commissioner Segee,
4.
Commissioner Templeton.
4.
Our next file is PZ 2023-438, a request for a certificate of appropriateness to expand a driveway. The applicant is Ricky Pinkston. The address is 2255 Harrison Street.
Yes. Ricky Pinkston is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to expand the driveway at 2255 Harrison Avenue. The expansion would make the driveway 12 feet in width, starting at the property line, extending to the rear of the structure, where pavement would expand in 28 feet in width. The expansion would not extend in front of the main structure. Staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. The new pavement shall comply with Section 2803-2418 District Area and Height Regulations of the City of Beaumont Code of Ordinances by maintaining a 2-foot offset from the side property line. All applicable permits and inspections shall be obtained through the Building Codes Department. The home is not listed in the Spare Beaumont survey. So this is the corrected application from the revoked application. Included in that request was a number of siding work, paint, windows. The only thing that required to come before you is the driveway application. Here's the existing drive, so they'd be tearing this out and expanding it. He has about 3 feet on either side until he hits his actual property line. I did make it clear to him he would not be able to expand over in front of the structure, and that he would have to make that 2 feet. He says we can make it work. Our inspectors will check the location before any concrete's actually poured, but he would be removing the existing totally and repaving the entirety of it. I know the existing walkway is shown on the drive. He says at this point, the plan is to just pressure wash the existing, as it does not appear that he needs to take it up.
How wide is that existing driveway?
It is 8 feet wide total currently.
what's going on underneath the bay windows under there that,
He's going to be re-siding that portion.
I just
It
don't-
had existing siding when they completely replaced the windows and seals, and now they'll be putting the siding back up. They just haven't they're in the process of doing that work.
okay, good.
All right, any other questions for staff?
I don't know.
So that's where that framing inspection will come in. I did discuss it with him, and he's aware he has to be 2 feet off the property line on this side, that it cannot expand in front of the house. He says they can do it, so when he frames it up, our inspectors will go out before they pour concrete to make sure that he is within the requirement.
If you look towards the back of the picture on the right-hand side, you'll see where that back fence has a corner behind the house next door. It appears that that's where the property line is, probably close to this pink flag that's shown in the photograph. So it appears that he's got more than enough room to make it wider.
Looks like he's trying to get 2 cars parked side by side in there.
Well, or parking one car and being able to get out of the car and step onto the concrete instead of the grass.
The driveway looks like it needs to be replaced no matter what.
Yes, ma'am.
Bad shape.
Any other questions for staff? If not, is Mr. Pinkston here? All right, with him not being here, I'd ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve file 2023-438 with the 2 staff conditions.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, I think you said 438?
PC
438.
2023, 438.
38.
438.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who seconded the motion?
I did.
Yes.
Thank you. Chairman LaBiche,
4.
Commissioner Bell,
4.
Commissioner Berube,
4.
Commissioner Crawford,
4.
Commissioner Goodness,
4.
Commissioner Kelly,
4.
Commissioner Macon,
4.
Commissioner Provo, Commissioner Segee,
4.
Commissioner Templeton.
4.
Thank you.
All right. Well, our next item of business is Historic District Code Enforcement Report.
Before Shay starts, I have to let y'all know, this is her last meeting.
Oh,
She got a promotion.
congratulations. We're going to miss you.
So she will now be our zoning technician. So if you have questions, you can still call and speak to her lovely person. She'll just be in office with me all day. This is John. He is going to be your new code enforcement inspector.
Oh, great.
He'll be training with myself and Pichet for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll set him loose for your pleasure.
Loose. All right.
Into the wild.
Welcome, John.
Thank you.
I have the October monthly report. We had 2 new historic violations, 1 historic reinspection, 1 new JV violation, 3 JV re-inspections, 1 JV tagged for removal, 9 new litter violations, 22 litter re-inspections, 25 new weed violations, 73 weed re-inspections, 2 owner compliance cuts, 51 city cuts, 3 new zoning violations, and 1 zoning reinspection. Total inspections, 212 for the month of October.
Wow.
John, you won't be that busy? Any questions about the report? We thank you. We've enjoyed having you, and
Thank you.
we're glad we get to keep you in the zoning department, though. All right, is there any other business?
Look down on your agenda. One more item.
Other business? Mine just says other business.
Oh, well, on the following page, there should be discuss appropriate placement of mini split air conditioning units within the Oaks Historic District.
All right.
So I will lead off the discussion. I'm sure a number of you are familiar with the apartment complex on the corner of North and 7th. It is undergoing a total renovation, and we're super happy to see it going under this renovation. However, there has been a number of calls of upset over the mini split units that have been installed on the side of it. How this went about was they did apply for all their appropriate certificate of appropriateness applications. They applied for all their appropriate permits. Most of the time when it's a alteration permit or any kind of structural permit, it triggers an immediate historic district review. They don't even get to the permit process until they've gone through myself and Demi. However, this was a mechanical permit. A mechanical permit does not typically include alterations to a structure. It's a separate unit. So they got their appropriate mechanical permit. However, with it being installed on the structure, there is now a discussion for the commission of how you would like to see mini splits reviewed or placed, if any way, at any how. And I do have our deputy building official, Mr. Bo Hansen, here, who can speak more on how to install, where they can go, things like that. But the discussion is for you all.
I'm unfamiliar with it. Are they hanging them on the wall?
So the upper levels do have them mounted on the walls.
Yeah.
Because I believe the structure itself did not have any AC to begin with.
They're about 8 to 10 foot off the ground, hanging there
But when you say
Bracket.
on an L bracket.
when you say hanging on the wall, the vents and all that is inside the building, right? It's
We're
just
talking the outside unit.
It's the
condenser.
outside unit.
condenser.
It's
Yeah.
hanging on the wall outside.
It's attached to the exterior of the structure versus a typical AC unit. The square block is, behind a house or on the side of the house on the ground. These are actually attached to the structure.
And it may not be a question for you. It may be a question. Are they encroaching in in our setback areas that we allow those units, if they were placed on the ground, to be placed in?
So the building itself was pre-existing, so the setbacks of the air conditioner, I believe, are allowed all the way up to the 2-foot mark, because it essentially sits on that pad, and the concrete pad has to be 2 feet off the property line. So as long as it doesn't encroach there, they can go way further in than the actual buildings.
Okay, but is there an encroachment problem with the way that they're mounted right now? Okay.
I think
Well,
that,
won't you explain to us the issues, because some of the ladies aren't real familiar, I'm sure, with these little package units, these mini split units.
Yeah, so the idea is basically you have a ductless system. So you have the unit hanging, the inside air handler hanging on the wall typically, and then the condenser usually can either mount right on the exterior side of the wall, or you can run it down and set it on a typical concrete pad like you would have your normal condenser unit. Typical length allowance there is 25 foot. You can get up to 50 foot. Anything longer than 50 foot, you're looking at field fabrication, a more expensive custom job, but it's not impossible. So, yeah, these are, I believe the conversation here is the problem is them being mounted on the wall and the quantity that are mounted on that wall.
Is it just the second floor that's mounted, or first and second
It's the
floor?
entire wall.
They are first and second floor. However, the first floor units are low enough that they are concealed by the privacy fence that is on either side of the building.
So you said there were some complaints, is that what you said? What were the complaints about?
From members of the community of the historic district, how it was inappropriate and they don't understand how it was ever permitted and approved. And again, aesthetically, yes. A typical mechanical permit wouldn't have come before us because it typically doesn't include alteration to the structure.
So you don't have any pictures of this? No?
I do not, but I could definitely get you some and email them or have them available for you next meeting if you'd
And
rather like to
also,
further
did the
discussion.
owner not want to put them all on a cement thing? I mean, that's the way I've always seen them. I've never seen them hanging on the wall.
well,
They look bad.
well, since this is a renovation, and this is what I do for a living. I do inspections and commissioning of HVAC. This is where we're going in the HVAC industry. The issue is, since this is a retrofit to an existing building, you can come out of the wall from your indoor unit, but I'm sure the owner didn't want the refrigeration lines running on the exterior of the building. So that's why he's mounted them up on the wall where he can hide the refrigeration lines behind the unit and you won't see the refrigeration lines. To do an interior installation of the refrigeration lines is going to be quite expensive to hide them inside the wall. So this was a cheaper and easier way for him to do this. Personally, I live in that neighborhood. I don't like to see those units hanging 10 feet in the air. I think it takes away from the aesthetics of the building. This building is sat vacant since I've been in the neighborhood for 25 years. Now, there was some kind of a marriage dispute, and the guy that owned it wasn't going to sell it or do anything with it because he didn't want his ex-wife, to have anything. So I guess somebody passed away or something happened that it's turned over and it's starting to be renovated, which is phenomenal. But the idea of that, I think we need to start addressing this kind of issue because we're going to start seeing more and more of it in our neighborhoods because it's a very easy and very efficient way to put air conditioning in these older homes.
So is it too late at this point to make any changes with the existing building?
So for this,
I mean, are we just stuck with that?
for this particular location, again, he did all of his permits correctly. He got all of his appropriate inspections. The question is going forward.
So for
Is there a
future
permissible
reference, not now.
location for these units?
Oh, yeah,
So-
I've seen them. They're ugly.
Additionally, I did receive a reminder, there is also a roof-mounted unit, just so y'all know, on this location as well. I don't know if that necessarily means much.
So for that apartment complex, they're already there.
They've already, like I said, they did get all their proper permits. They received all their proper inspections. They're we can't necessarily take that back now. However, moving forward, we can amend our ordinance and include the location of mini splits, location of these items specifically in our ordinance. So with the commission, is there a permissible location in your mind? Is there a permissible height restriction for if they are wall mounted? Because as Mr. Ruby did say, they are becoming increasingly popular. But additionally, I think a part of the concern with the roof mounted or wall mounted units was theft and ease of access. It eliminates an ease of access for people to remove the copper and the linings out of those units as well.
Now, these units can be stacked. They're very small. They're 3 foot by 2 foot, and they're very, very light. I've seen them in the industry where they just stack them, one on top of the other. So if you go by there and see it, you've got like 6 or 8 on one wall. If they drop them down and double stack them, then it's below the site.
Yeah, that's good. It'd be better.
Yeah.
It looks like, Mr. Kelly, if you.
Now, I'm familiar with those
sort of,
split units. I'm very familiar with them. I just
But
never
if-
seen them stack
If
on
they
the
drop
wall.
them down, they're still gonna have to address
Free on lines.
the lines to the unit.
It's unfortunate because this particular structure is right on a busy, like one of the busiest streets. It's
Yeah.
not right on 7th Street
Right.
at a stop sign. So you just kind of look there and you're like, oh, wow. It's a lot to look at. How many units are in that?
Oh, there's a lot.
I mean, at least 15 or
There's a
20.
large
Quite a
number of
few.
units.
So
Well, these-
approximately how high above the fence line?
It's
are
probably
they?
4 feet above the fence line, and it's a 6-foot fence.
They're about 10 foot off the ground.
So most of it is hidden.
Yeah, like I said, the ones on all the bottom units are hidden, but everything on the upper level is visible.
So this is a glorified window unit. So they're less expensive, they're ductless, they're very efficient. It's worth you doing them on small projects like that. I think in my case, what I'd like to see is that they're either behind the privacy fence so that you can't see them from the street, or they're on the back of the building so that you can't see them from the street.
Okay.
And then that allows for the placement of them, maybe sometimes to be placed in a different spot. And it also kind of keeps in the spirit of what we've been doing as far as modifications to a house or modifications to windows or doors and those things, and kind of hides those things so that you can't see them from the street.
So similar to our solar panel discussion, if it's not visible from the street, permissible, is there a certain height that even if it's not visible, y'all want to discuss? Because maybe that fence comes down in the future. I just want to make sure we're covering all of our avenues.
I mean, for me, they either need to be at ground level or behind the building. Because even at ground level, if the fence came down, you could still put some landscaping or something else to hide that from the street.
I was thinking even with the existing building, what about a crepe myrtle or something?
It's,
But I think the thing is,
They would,
I think-
so they wouldn't be allowed to put crepe myrtles there essentially is because there is overhead power lines right there, and energy won't let you plant trees within 30 feet of power lines. So they couldn't install any
I
there.
mean, if they got them sitting on cement, what difference is that than a regular air conditioning unit that sits on cement? There's no difference. I think we need to consider on a case-by-case basis because some buildings are sitting different from others.
So that goes back to similar to our solar panel ordinance. So right now, solar panels, we can allow them, if they're not visible from the street right of way, you can install solar panels on the side, the back. Now, if they're on the front of the house, those items come before you. So we could make it like like Chairman Labiche said, if they're not visible from the street, staff can review them and approve them. However, at any point they become, say above fence height and or visible from the street right of way with their location, we could put them before commission for approval. Does that sound okay?
Yeah,
Well,
because they're room specific. So if your room's on the front of the house, you have to figure out some other way to run those lines either inside the house or like you were saying, there is a distance.
well, that's not totally correct. These charges on these units are based on the linear foot of the copper run. They don't charge it per pressure per se anymore. They charge it by the run of the foot. So you just charge it based off of how long the refrigeration runs are, how many 90s and all that. So you can go longer than 25 feet. They don't recommend it, but it can be done. I've done schools that all the classrooms have got these mini splits in them, and it's run to the other side of the campus. And these are multiple units going to one condenser. So these charges can be charged for a longer run if necessary.
And, you know, if you got a one-story, then they can run through the attic space, so they don't have to run on the outside. But I would be concerned with anything that is running on the exterior wall of the building or that can be seen from the street on the exterior wall of the building.
Well, how different is that than electrical conduit running all on the side of the houses and all over the place? And also with these older homes, I mean, at one time there were just window units all over the place. So, I mean, I think that if these type of units are going to be able to, and we know we need air conditioning in Texas, if it's going to provide them some kind of relief in such a way that they can get air conditioning to these various rooms in the building, that on a case-by-case basis, we should be able to look at and see whether or not this is appropriate. Because, like I said, some of these older buildings are constructed very different, and trying to find where you're going to place them can be a task.
And unless it's a two-story building, they always mount up high. So you're either going to go in the attic. If it's two-story, yeah, I can see some issues with it. A window unit is considered a temporary. It's not a permanent installation. So
Right.
that's kind of doesn't fall into this ballpark.
Then remove it until it stops working. Then
Yeah,
remove
well,
it
it's
and
still
put another
considered
one.
temporary.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
I think our solar panel, if we craft this similar to our solar panel deal, then this commission will get to see anything that you can see from the street, no matter what it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all.
Questions for staff?
Can we help you out at all?
Yes, I think just moving forward, anything visible, we'll bring to you.
All right. Being there's no other business, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you all.